guys, welcome back to my channel. So let's spend a little bit of time today talking about Chinese medical theory and some of the concepts that help you better understand why Chinese medicine can help so much with our emotional well-being. In clinic, I spend a lot of time focusing on individuals' emotions and how to more effectively express themselves, especially when it comes to situations that usually occur at work where we're in situations which cause us a lot of stress, and our stress response might not be the most effective for ourselves or for people around us, or we might be highly critical of ourselves, causing us more and more stress. So Chinese medicine works really well with emotions, and part of that is because of how Chinese medicine views disease. We hear over and over again that alternative medicine looks at the whole person and not just parts of the person. And so let's look at what that means in Chinese medicine. When Chinese medicine looks at disease, they see a specific progression for physical disease to express itself in the body. And how that progression goes is, they say it starts at the Tao, then it moves to the spirit, then it becomes part of our emotions. We begin to think about it and it becomes part of our mental expression, and then it becomes part of our physical expression. So disease doesn't just happen at the physical end of it. There is a whole lot of steps before then that bring disease to us. Now, where we're probably most familiar is the emotions. And probably in our college classes and our psych classes especially, we learn that emotions can affect our well-being. And there used to be a lot of theories on different types of personalities that you work with. And, there's introverts, or there's type A's, there's type B's. And then they started saying, well, type A personalities, because they're so driven and so relentless with themselves, they have a tendency to fall to high blood pressure and to heart disease. And that may or may not be true, but that is the first step to acknowledging that our emotional expression ultimately leads to our physical expression of disease. So in Chinese medicine, everything that they do is about balancing each of these aspects of our personality and our physical expression. And how they do that is through the Yin organs. So in Chinese medicine, you've heard that there's yin and yang, and most of us have heard about the 12 meridians, and some of us know that 6 of those meridians are yin organs and 6 of those meridians are yang organs. And previously in ancient China, there was only 5 yin organs and so in ancient China, you heard about the 5 lights of illumination. And if you go back into my channel, you'll find a specific YouTube about the 5 lights of illumination, which will better let you understand what that means and what that represents. But for a short answer, the 5 lights of illumination are going to be the 5 yin organs. And basically, I like to think about those 5 organs as the 5 organs that we need to keep the lights on. So the 5 yin organs are the heart, the spleen, the lungs, the kidneys, and the liver. So without functioning in general, without those organs functioning, our lights aren't on. We're just not functioning. So So when we look at emotions in Chinese medicine, let's take one step back to the spirit. So we see disease start at the Tao, it goes to the spirit, then it moves to the emotion. And so what does spirit mean in Chinese medicine? Because we have a specific belief on what spirit means to us today in the West. And a lot of it has to do with being spiritual or having some sort of spiritual practice or being religious or looking outside ourselves to a god or something along those lines. But in ancient China and 5,000 years ago, it didn't mean anything like that at all. So in ancient China, the 5 yin organs in balance were what was meant by spirit. So it was our expression of ourselves that was our spirit. And if they were in balance, then we would be, like some Buddhist monk like the Dalai Lama, who doesn't get upset about much and seems to have a pretty lax life and is able to accept a lot of differences in human expression, and it doesn't seem to impact him. So that would be the 5 yin organs in balance. What really happens for most of us today is that we don't have that kind of balance. We don't have that Buddhist monk kind of balance. And part of that is because life today throws different stressors. We have different constitutions, so we handle stress differently. And again, if you go back to psych, you remember the classes that you took that identified differences in personality, or even in corporate America, all the classes that you take about learning about how to interact with other people, the differences of expression, all of that is that different people will express themselves differently. And based on that type of expression, in Chinese medicine, you'll use different aspects of your body more than others. So like an athlete who is into basketball will use his legs more than a swimmer who's a champion swimmer, who will use their upper body more than their lower legs. Every individual is going to use different parts of their body differently. And when we do this, we can overtax whatever part it is that we use more. So let's go back to the idea of the swimmer. It's more likely that they're going to hurt their shoulder than it is that they're going to hurt their ankle. Whereas a basketball player, it could be more likely that they're going to hurt an ankle than it is that they're going to hurt a shoulder. So using one part of the body more than another causes wear in that area or causes more stress in that area, and our ability to hurt that is increased. Well, that same thing happens with the 5 yin organs. And instead of thinking of the different physical aspects of our body, when we look at the 5 yin organs, we can say, each one of those represents a different personality. And each different personality will handle stress in life in a different way. So just to give you an example, liver people have a tendency to handle stress in a very strong manner, where they're not afraid of fighting, they're not afraid of standing their ground. Whereas if you were dealing with a kidney person, it's they handle stress in a way where they prefer to avoid a situation and not confront difficulties. So each person will express themselves in a different way based on what their core constitution is, and their core constitution is going to be based on the 5 yin organs. So, just like the athletes, we're going to use one of these organs more than the other, and by taxing it, we could hurt it. And again, going back to the type A personality, we've heard it over and over again. They get heart disease, they get high blood pressure, they get all these things from pushing themselves so hard. Yet, if we look at this, if we look at these 5 yin organs and learn what our constitution is, we're going to learn how we respond to stress, or what our go-to is in responding to stress. And we're going to learn that that's the organ that we would probably tax the most, and that could be the organ where we actually present with disease. So that's not necessarily 100% true, but it's a good way to look at it right now, just to get a feel for what happens in Chinese medicine. And when we express disease, especially when we express pathology and the emotions, it's going to be things like anxiety, stress, inability to sleep, short temper, fear, avoidance, overthinking, OCD. It's going to be some sort of emotion that's starting to take control of our lives. Going back to the concept of 5 yin organs in balance, it's okay that that's taking control of your life, because there is a way to bring that back into balance. And by bringing it back into balance, by working with a Chinese medical practitioner and learning how to bring that back into balance, there's a couple of things that happen. One, you learn more about yourself. You learn that what you're going through is pretty normal, and it's going to be pretty normal for everybody who has a similar constitution as you. And you're going to learn that it's easy to bring it back into balance, and to be able to better express yourself with people around you, with yourself, and to make sure that with your family, you're expressing the love that you truly do feel. So, that's a brief introduction to Chinese medicine and emotions, and hopefully it gives you kind of an understanding of why Chinese medicine can be effective with emotions, or how they look at emotions, and that there's other options. So, there's counseling, there's medication, there's all sorts of other options that you can use. What I've found in clinic is people usually show up after they've tried all those options, and they still can't get it under control. And it's unusual that they would even think about coming to Chinese medicine, but they do, and now they're coming more and more as people start to realize that Chinese medicine can be super effective in this area, and you start to see more and more people seek out practitioners who specialize in emotional well-being with Chinese medicine. So, I'm going to post more videos on Chinese medicine and the emotions, but this is just kind of a brief introduction to just kind of give you an idea of why Chinese medicine deals with emotions. If they're going to deal with physical disease, it's almost imperative that they have to deal with emotions, because in order to deal with physical disease, it had to go through the Tao, the spirit, the emotions, the mental attitude. It had to go through all that to get to physical. So if you're going to heal the end expression, if you are truly going to heal that end expression, that means you have to heal every expression before that. A scab doesn't just heal on the outside. The scab heals all the way to where the injury started. So I hope this helps you out a little bit. Come back to my channel. I'll share more with you. And, if this was interesting or if you'd like to hear more about this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, let me know. Okay, thanks a lot. And until next time, I'll catch you on the other side.